Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mark Isaac Potter Presents. We're visiting today with Frank Navarro. This is show number 2 in a long series. And Frank wrote a book whose title I won't get right, so I won't say, he'll say what the title is. I can barely spell the word Frank, tell you the truth. Just,
Uncle.
anyway, Frank, tell us that there was something about this whole thing that was on your mind. Go ahead and tell us about that.
I never said that Trump was Hitler. I said there
Okay.
were
Now,
remarkably.
give us, for the people that didn't see show number 1, you're in a meeting with the supervisor of the Mountain View High School, right?
I'm
So,
with the principal and the associate superintendent of the high school.
okay, and you're in a meeting and they're not happy with something you taught. So go ahead and tell us what happened in the meeting.
Well, the principal accused me straight up of creating propaganda against Trump,
Right.
and and that he would not have it. I insisted that, in fact, everything I said about Trump could be verified, and the
Right.
comparison of Hitler was legitimate. And I said, by the way, that's not what I did, is not so unique. Uh, I heard a long lecture, and in fact, I would talk about Napoleon and Hitler in the future. And I don't notice the French going nuts over that.
Yeah.
And I, I told the superintendent and the principal, I mean, the associate superintendent and the principal, do you want to start breaking it down? We can talk about exactly what I said. And they said, no, we have a parent that's upset with you. And
Yeah.
I said, well, why is that so important when I didn't say anything that can't be confirmed?
Well, you know why. You probably know why. I could say why, but you get it. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said in the last show, a lot of Trump supporters in every town in the United States. So
I,
somebody
I
who was a Trump supporter was upset, you know.
my my take on that is, in California, teachers have tenure, which
High school teachers?
high school teachers
Do they
absolutely,
really? That I didn't know actually. Okay.
and so they could fire you, but they have to take it to the state, make a case, and it's not.
Okay.
And and in fact, um, we have some very real protections, so we could afford to teach the truth. Now,
Okay.
that doesn't mean that you're making up stories or that you're being outrageous
Oh
or
well,
you're.
like you said, it could all be verified. So
And a science teacher came to me and made the remark that she would never do this, do what
do
I
what?
did, um, talk about Trump in class. And I said, well,
Oh, I see.
you especially should talk about Trump in class
They
because,
talked about Nixon in my classes in high school.
oh, I heard. And I told her, listen, Trump said that climate change is a hoax perpetrated
Yeah.
by the Chinese. You
Right.
know better. There's a
Yeah.
whole lesson that you could present on that. And she
Mhm.
just turned around and walked away. So
Yeah.
the um, in our meeting, I was insisting that what I said can be verified. They insisted that I shouldn't have said it from the beginning.
Right.
Told them it was consistent with the curriculum. I was teaching world studies at the time, and we do
Right.
a development of how democracy is established throughout Western Europe at the time, and what's going on with the United States, and what is critical to democracy and not critical.
All right.
And they finally just said, "You have to leave. We're going to investigate you,
Mm.
and you have to leave right now." And I was furious. So I asked the union representative, as my personal representative here, don't you have anything to say? And she,
Yeah. Really.
oh, no, I'm just taking notes. And I said, Well, thank you for your support. And
Oh,
I walked out of the meeting and went to a bench and had to gather my thoughts. And I took a long breath and started thinking about how lesson plans and what I was going to do, and grades were due the following week, and how I was going to do that. And I turned around
right.
and the associate superintendent was staring at me. And
Hmm.
the one of the few things that an administrator can fire a teacher for is insubordination. And so I didn't
Okay.
want to give them that out. So I got up and walked back to my class, and he followed me. I didn't realize he was following me until I got into the class, and I could see him at the window listening to our conversation. The substitute came, we started talking. He said,
You had told them that you had to go back to the class to get your briefcase and
yeah,
such.
yeah. I didn't want them to think that I was resisting that I had to go back.
Hmm.
I was getting the briefcase. And it was then that the kids started, when I was leaving, pulling out their phones.
Right.
And on I gave the interviews that night to the school newspaper, and then Saturday morning, the New York Times, the LA Times, the Chronicle, the Mercury News called, and then the
You
BBC
said
called.
the BBC called. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but the BBC called and said they wanted an extensive interview, and that they would call me back Sunday night for a 30-minute interview. They didn't want it
Okay.
to be a short one. And then the
Okay.
superintendent called Sunday afternoon and said, "You know what, Frank? You can come back right away." Uh,
They're getting international heat on this.
and I told him, I
Funny how
said,
that works.
"What about the investigation? I thought they were uh,
Yeah.
was doing," and he said, "Oh no, forget that. When we just need you to come back." And he said, "The important thing is that you get back to school and get back into your classroom and do what you do best, and that is teaching kids. That's all we're really interested in. I'm
Oh,
interested in." And he said, "There is one other thing I'd like to do, though. I'd like to ask you to do. I think it's a bad idea for you to talk to the press. I've seen your
oh, God
interviews."
help us all.
And
Yeah.
I said, "Are you ordering?" He said, "No, I would never order you."
He can't order. You're a human being,
I
for
know.
God's sakes.
And he said, "Don't they're going to take your words and distort your words."
Now,
And I
I
told him,
can't
"Oh well,
swear on the show, but I'd like to.
yeah."
It's such a bull.
So I told him, "I'll make the decision on that."
Mhm.
Um, on Monday morning, when I came back, I was at my door, and a parent came up behind me, tapped me on the shoulder, and said, "Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh,
You're speaking truth to power. I'm proud
okay.
of you."
Good. That's good.
And when I
But
got in,
by then, some of those stories had actually broken into the news, right, or not?
yeah, they were
Had the
out already.
BBC interview broken yet or not? Because it was rather
Yeah.
extensive.
Well, they started coming out Saturday, and they continued
Okay.
on Sunday, and they were flowing on Monday. So
Okay.
I sit down at my desk, and 4 or 5 kids come to my desk and said, "Mr. Navarro," and they're shaking their heads and said, "Why are you back so soon?"
Oh,
And I said, "What are you talking about?"
is that a?
I said, "Dude, we had organized a mass walkout for you at
Oh,
church." He said, "We had thousands of kids, thousands of students who were ready to walk out. Now we have to stay in class."
oh well.
And
Oh
um,
my God.
so their support. And then I got calls from parents. Um,
Okay.
and the parents said,
Both sides.
only one side decided that the analogy was correct.
Okay.
But one parent called and said, he gave me the title of a law firm in Palo Alto.
Okay.
He said it's a significant,
Yeah,
powerful law
yeah,
firm.
yeah. Okay.
And if we've decided that if they try to fire you, we'll represent you.
Okay.
And I said, well, that sounds great, but I have to tell you, I don't have the money to retain an attorney.
Yeah.
And he said, we've decided to do it gratis.
Yeah, because
So,
well, it is nice for them to do that, but they also get mega
yeah,
what am I trying to say? Broadcast coverage, probably get a million clients from having done that. So
yeah.
it is nice for them to do it, but still.
I also got a call, though, later in the morning from the regional director of the California Teachers Association.
Okay.
And she said, Frank, you should know that you've already won. Nobody in
Hmm.
the public, the press, any spokesperson is supporting the administration. Everybody is supporting you. And good for you. She said, but I want to remind you of something. I've
Hmm.
seen your interviews, I've read the articles about you, and I've heard that you are giving these interviews, and that someone told me that you're even answering parents online through with emails. And I said, well, I am. She said, that's a bad idea. I said, well, why? And she said, it's a bad idea because you're liable to say something that's out
Yeah.
of line. And I told her, no, I'm not. I'm focusing on the history. I'm not making personal remarks about Trump. And I had to throw this in. And I hope you're not offended if I make negative personal remarks about Hitler. and, and she
Oh
said,
my God.
Mr. Navarro.
Oh my God.
And she said, I want you to stop giving interviews, not another discussion
Really? A
reporter.
teachers association person.
And I said, well, why would I do
Why?
that?
Yeah,
And
why?
she said, because I told you they will distort your words. And I said, my experience right now is that's not happening. They're
Yeah.
interested in the history, exactly what I said. Hitler in 1932, Hitler in 33 when he's taking power, Trump what he's doing now. And she said, I am telling you, they will distort your words, and it's a terrible idea.
No, I don't. That's sad that the
And
teachers
then, and then,
association.
and then she told me, if you give another interview, the California Teachers Association has decided we will not represent you, period.
Really?
Yeah, and I said, well,
That's very strange.
I said, well, I've been a member of this association for 40 years.
Well,
I've been a negotiator. And now you're
right.
telling me you won't represent me. We will not if you give another interview. I told her, okay, that's something I'll just have to live with. And
Yeah.
she said, good day. And she hung up on me.
Yeah.
So that was an eye opener there.
That's weird. And also, I wonder if the administration got to her. Who knows?
Well, the administration was starting to change their tune. And
Well, because of the international heat. I
yeah,
mean, on a high school in Mountain View, California, for God's sakes, that's a lot of heat for a high school.
well, they could have they could have taken one stand. They took one that was even more outrageous, but they could have said simply, the principal made a mistake and we're sorry about it. And we would love to hear what he says about the history and leave it at that. And
Yeah.
but they decided to say that, well, no, it's not about his commentary. Mr. Navarro did something and we have to look into it. And that the following day I got another call from an attorney. He said, they're close to defaming you and will represent you on that too.
Okay.
And uh, then and it's incredible. The students, once they heard that, started laughing. And in class, they're just making stuff up now
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Well, a lot of people are doing that nowadays. That's for sure.
And
Oh, okay.
two kids, two juniors, were walking down the hall, and this one kid reported to me the principal stepped in front of us and said, "You're in Mr. Navarro's history class, aren't you?" And this one boy, Brian, said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Well, is there anything you want to tell me about Mr. Navarro?
Oh
It could
my
be
God.
anonymous. Is there anything you'd like to say about him? We can go
Mm.
to my office and you can make the statement." And Brian said, "Yeah." And his buddy turned and they looked at each other and said, "Yeah, we have something to say." He said,
Yeah.
"And what is it?" And they both yelled, "Navarro's the bomb, baby!" They high fived and they
Oh my God.
both shook
Oh
and
Lord. That's
walked
funny.
away.
That's so funny.
And
That's hilarious.
and they,
Oh Lord.
but
Ugh.
as the teachers, I became persona non grata among the teachers.
Now, were you still teaching at that time, or what happened with
Absolutely.
that?
I went back to teaching, and I went back to teaching what I had taught, uh,
Right.
that
Okay.
how similar Trump and
Right.
Hitler were. And then
Yeah.
we were also beginning to look at the early stages of the French Revolution. So,
Okay.
and so I was able to integrate that history, and
Right.
um, it was really enjoyable. So, um,
Well, yeah.
but the the California teachers, the magazine called me and asked me to write an essay about
What
it.
magazine is that?
California Educator.
Now, how is that associated with the lady who told you to
Yeah, it
shut
is.
up?
She didn't know that they had contacted me, and
Oh,
I wrote a long essay. It took me about a day. It took me 4 or 5
yeah.
different hours. When I write, I put out the piece and then I step back and think about it. Then I rewrite it. Then the third time it's the final version. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they
Okay.
wrote about it. Um, the
Mm,
stories just get.
wow.
The BBC called. They were really interested.
Again, or the first time?
Well, they wanted the 30-minute interview.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I thought you had done that the previous Sunday night or something.
well, no, they contacted me and then said they want to do it on Monday in the evening.
Okay.
But they wanted to know why other teachers weren't saying it. Apparently, I was the only high school teacher in the country that made the analogy. Several
Okay.
people told me that. Nobody else is saying what you said. Why are you the only one doing it? And I addressed
Yeah.
that issue in my book.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Good.
so the BBC ended their interview with Mr. Navarro. I think it seems to me that you teaching is a little bit similar to the cat sitting among the parakeets.
Before I forget, give us verbally some piece of contact information that you would like the public to have. If someone wants to contact you, how would you like them to do it?
I could, I wonder if I'm on Facebook. That's
Okay.
one place they can contact me for sure.
Okay. Now, or how many Frank Navarros do we have on Facebook?
Yeah, I
2.6
I am not
million,
sure.
perhaps?
I wonder if I should give you my email.
It's up to you. You have to decide for yourself because I mean, we won't get a lot of reactions. We might get none, but some people listen to the show and then they don't bother to contact you. But if you, I'm just giving you the chance to put something out there if you want to. It's not required.
Yeah.
It's up to
How
you.
about if I gave them my phone number? That might be the best way
It's
to
up
do
again. Let me
it. It's
publicly
up to
say
me.
it's up to you. I don't want you. I don't want to get in trouble over what you've decided to do. But
I would like then let's go with my phone number.
okay, so verbalize that, and then after you stop, verbalize it again so we can hear it twice.
Okay. I am reminded of a comment that a professor when I was in college made to me about history. And he said
Okay.
American history is not really history. You need at least 250 years for
Uh,
the historians to study it, and then they reflect on it, and they
yeah.
talk about it, and they kick it around. And so much of American history is mixed in with politics and the
Yeah.
political notions. And I really
Yeah.
think that's important. And it
Yeah.
reminds me of uh, I, uh, Mark Twain's comment about history. History doesn't repeat itself, but it sure rhymes. And
Yeah. You said that in your interview questions. So, do you want to expound on what Twain said or not?
well, I I think that figures in history can influence each other. Uh,
Okay.
hi- Trump's first wife said that um, he had Hitler's collected speeches on his nightstand and read that before he'd go to bed at night.
Now, what was her name again?
Ivanka
Is it
Trump.
on for the first one? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and I often feel that you could see the influences with with Trump. Trump
Yeah.
actually talked about the press is the enemy of the people. The other remark that he made is that immigrants were poisoning the blood of the American public.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's directly out of Hitler's
Yeah.
commentary about
Yeah.
Jews and Poles, Aryan
So
blood.
true. Yeah.
And
Couple things before I forget, and I do want these in the show. Send me by email a short title for the show. Some titles are too long to go on the different social media posts, and then also send me like what you want me to put in a description box on YouTube, like if you want your phone number or not, if you want your Facebook link or not, whatever you want people to have access to. Send that to me today if you could, because I'm going to process these probably within the next week and try to get them up on social media as fast as I can. And the other thing is we need to reschedule the next show or schedule it in the first place. And maybe that day I'll have enough energy to do two shows as well. I hope
okay,
so. I hope so. Let me go look at my calendar and see what I want the public to see the process that we're going through, not
sure.
just the show part. All right, so I've got all these calendars here. One of them's for the show. Uh, do you do interviews on the weekend or not?
I can work it in.
Could you do March 1st, possibly?
I think so. I think so.
And
That's
what's a good time for you?
um, maybe about 11 o'clock.
Okay, let me put that in here. Let me get it in here because I have sometimes gotten off the show and then forgot to put it in and totally missed the appointment. So,
Okay, I'm going to pull out my calendar and make
yeah, please do. Yeah. Like I say, well, try to do two shows that day if I'm up for it. I've been sick lately. which people already know. I'm going to make a couple duplicates of this. We're pretty close to the end. I really appreciate you, and I don't know. It sounds corny to say, but I'm quite honored to have you on the show,
Oh,
frankly,
well,
because
thank you.
what you're doing is important, and it. To be really honest, it really helps my show. I haven't had somebody of your stature on my show since that Martian guy came on back in '43. I'm kidding, of course. I was going to tell you the Martians want to interview you about all this too, but
What's that old rock and roll song? I
there's,
want Ford flying people eater.
there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Creedence Clearwater Revival comes to mind for some reason. Okay, so that's about a week away, I think.
Okay,
Two
it
weeks.
is. Yes.
Yeah, so we're good. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in today. We are very happy to feature Frank Navarro. Can you say the title of your book again, please, for us?
Trump, Hitler, and Me, a Teacher's Story
Okay, and it's available where?
on Amazon.
Okay, and you've done quite well so far. You said that's good. I'm
I
hoping it gets to
had a
be.
couple of bookstores complain to me, though, that they don't like dealing with Amazon.
Well,
But
there goes my alarm telling me it's over, dog.
we're done. Oh,
All right, so thank you, folks. I love you all. Let's try to stay safe and sane for the next 4 years. And someday, if we get far enough down here, Frank, I want to ask you about his probability of a third or fourth term if he's going to be able to get the legislature to put that through. But we're out of time. I
okay.
am tired. I would do another show today, but we've done two. So
Okay.
God bless you, brother. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk. We'll talk next Saturday, a week from Saturday. How's that?
We will. Thank
All right,
you.
boss.
I enjoyed
No,
this.
it's an honor to have you on the show. It really is. Let me turn this recording thing off here.